Hey, goalies, Keaton here. So I had a couple guys ask me, hey, can I do anything that helps me stand out at junior camps? I did a short form video on it, but I wanted to elaborate and expand on those tips. So here are three main tips, all right, that everyone can work on to look slightly more refined and calculated in their game, especially at junior camp, but applicable at all levels. So first tip, don't chase the play. Pretty simple, but a lot of players, a lot of goalies end up getting pretty jacked up and just work off of pure athleticism. And they feel like they need to be in a crazy strong stance at the top of the crease or above the top of the crease at all times. We look like we're a little bit more amateur in our approach if we are chasing the game because it looks like we are not, which is going to lead me into the third one. We are not looking like we are basing our positioning and our posture off of the main threats. So let's say a very easy example of chasing a play would be maybe getting a little too high when there's a backdoor threat. Or let's say following a guy who's below the goal line who currently is not a threat for a direct shot, but there are more threats in front. So again, do not chase the play. Let the play come to you. You will look so much calmer and more calculated in your approach. And that's what it takes to play at a higher level. Okay, so let's say in this situation, there's a guy with the puck slightly below the goal line to the outside of the dot line, and there's a pass option slightly below the hash marks. If I have this right foot, my lead foot too high in the crease, it's going to take me a ton of time to pivot. Doesn't look like I'm prepared for that pass. And let's say I'm hugging the post too aggressively. Again, if this guy's in a situation where he cannot shoot it, so we have to be on par or above the goal line to shoot that short side on me. Right now, that's not applicable. So this is me chasing the play. I would recommend we are going to be off the post, having a nice inside leg angle or knee angle. So I'm on an inside edge with this boot, okay? Making sure that, again, I'm off the post. It looks like this foot is well aware or in a great position to be able to T-push or butterfly slide out. I have an active stick here. So both my angle, my posture, and my positioning are dealing with the main threat here. All right, so another scenario is, let's say there's a backdoor threat and the guy that has the puck is halfway through the circles, okay? So I wanna make sure that I'm in a good stance and my depth in my positioning or my posture in my positioning is based off of the main threat. Now, this guy is still a threat, and we need to make sure that almost all of our attention, most of our hard focus is going to him, and let's say 10% of our focus, our soft focus, is going to the player back door, but we still need to make sure that our posture and our positioning is based off the play rather than getting tunnel vision and just sticking to one player. So in this situation, if I read that there's a backdoor threat, maybe I'll start to drift back a little, get into a slightly stronger stance. Now we need to make sure that we're obviously not drifting back too much, but try to get a little pace backwards, get into a stronger stance. We still need to make sure that we're reading this guy's release rather than kind of cheating and losing our squareness. But that's another situation where it looks like we are not chasing the play. Again, our positioning, our depth, all right, and our posture is based off of the play that's in front of us. Second one, refining the head routes. Super potent if executed properly. We need to make sure that we keep that puck in the middle of our head at all times. So if we can refine our head routes and make sure that we are always tracking the puck down and out rather than, let's say, dropping early and having to track the puck up afterwards, you are going to not only be more patient, you're going to probably be able to track pucks off your body and initiate more speed into the recovery earlier. And you are probably going to have better balance because if you're always tracking pucks down, that means that you're in a pretty strong stance, always over top of the puck. And again, all athletic ability comes from vision. If you cannot see the puck as clear as possible, it's very tough to make the right decisions in the right time frame. So a little easier said than done. This stuff does take practice, but try to make sure that you're always over top of the puck. It's the easiest detail to talk about to allow goalies to time their drops into saves, because if we're leading with the knees and that puck is shot high, we're usually having to route that head up rather than tracking that puck down. Okay, so try to make sure that you're always tracking that puck down. Obviously, unless the puck is going grossly above the net, you're trying to make sure that your head and your eye angle is strictly down to the puck along with the shoulders. Okay, you're trying to make sure that you shoot your eyes directly to that puck because the overall head and eye objective is to see the puck. I have another video that I'm talking to not aggressively driving that head into it or shoulders into it. But for now, let's just say stay over top of the puck, work on direct sight lines to the puck, and make sure you're not shifting your entire upper body into each stop. Again, with these refined head routes, if you're tracking pucks down and out, usually recoveries are a lot faster because if I'm tracking pucks down, my posture is relatively strong when I hit the ice. So I have a lot of athletic potential to be able to push into that recovery. If usually I'm tracking pucks up, all right, usually what happens is my chest lifts. I'm in a pretty unathletic posture, especially with my hips now. And now I need to route my body down to the ice where that puck is to then finally be able to push to it. Okay, so third one is shoulder checks. So make sure that you are always assessing the main threats. So we usually would like to go through shoulder checks or net front checks when the puck is in a less threatening space to the wall, below the goal line. So we need to make sure that we're able to consistently have our head on a swivel when we have the ability to do so and be able to assess who the main threats are and then make sure that our posture and our positioning is based off of the main threats. If, again, you approach the game, the tryout in this manner, you will look a lot calmer and quieter in the net, and you will look a lot more calculated in your approach rather than just referring to or deferring to raw athleticism. A lot of people out there have raw athleticism. You are going to be able to stand out from the pack if you have a higher sense of hockey IQ. And all three of these ideas or general tips will give you a little bit more hockey IQ. All right, so now for the last tip, we need to make sure that we are doing consistent shoulder checks, head checks, net front checks, however you want to describe it, because we always need to be hitting the refresh button on who's available, where are the main threats, and how do I, again, get my positioning and my posture to be based off of that. So let's say the exact same scenario as tip one. Guy has the puck below the goal line to the outside of the dot line, and there is a pass option or maybe a couple pass options around the hash mark height, maybe slightly below. Okay, I want to make sure that I am here, okay, consistently having my head on a swivel. Now, if this guy is walking net front, okay, and had full possession or has full possession over the puck and can shoot at any time, I do not have the luxury to take my head off of it or my eyes off of it. So make sure that you are shoulder checking or going through your net front checks when this guy is not threatening. Again, he's whether he is a little bit more to the wall, below the goal line, currently does not have possession over the puck, or he's to the outside of the dot lines or above the circle. All of those are scenarios and depths that the puck can be at that gives us a little time to check and assess the threats. Okay. Now, the one thing I would suggest here, let's say this guy is a little lower in the zone, the pass option net front, so I can be a little wider in my posture and have this outside lead foot be angled on that guy's potential center line. So more or less where that guy is holding his blade, I'm going to make sure that this skate is based off of that and the angle of it. But if this guy is creeping in closer, I will probably have to butterfly slide for that. So I want to make sure that this leg is a little wider. So by the time I open up, I have the physical hardware to be able to drop right away. If we are hugging the post, like I mentioned in the first tip, too aggressively, or we have the skate too high, or we have the skate maybe too low, both of those scenarios do not allow us to butterfly slide out on the correct angle. So I hope this makes sense, guys. Try to take time to watch game film, whether it's from your past games or whether it's the NHL, OHL, AHL level, and look at how those goalies are going through these three main tips. There's more to talk to, but just watching the game of hockey will make you a better hockey player because it gives you a little bit of a better idea of how the game is played. in how situations unfold. Hope this makes sense, guys. Hope you have a great tryout.